Yeah, I was lucky last night to watch Chris Day versus Jack Whelan. That was a real blockbuster game, actually. Chris came flying out the blocks, and at 6-3 ahead, Chris looked like he was going to run out a comfortable winner. Jack then dished free on the spin, and Chris Day pulled out an absolute highlight reel in order to try and get himself over the line. As for Dave McNamara, I mean, what a weekend he's having.
Yeah, obviously, all the way to the final. Was very disappointed with the result, I'm sure, but new day today, and I'm sure he realises it was a good run and a great achievement. Disposed of Sean Chipperfield just a little bit earlier on.
Yeah, he produced 3 dishes on the spin to win that as well from 4 apiece, and real signs that David's found his form this weekend, and you can just tell the way he's going around the arena at the moment. I mean, off the table as well, he's just happy with where he is.
Yeah, a very popular man on the circuit. Just about to open his own club tomorrow up in Southport. Wish him all the best for that. Or is it Ormskirk? Southport Ormskirk. Yeah.
But
sorry, Dave.
It's alright. I'm sure he appreciated the plug anyway. But, I mean, it's actually a really interesting game this now, David, because of the fact that this bottom half of the draw started to open up just a little bit. You've only got, having a look at this, you've got 3 previous winners in that bottom half of the draw, but they've only won once, and they were all over a year ago now. Cole Sutton, Dom Cooney and Sean Story. But Chris Day, Dave McNamara, Oli Bale, Arfan Dad, Neil Raybone, neither of them have won events yet, but good opportunity.
Yeah, I've put the curses on Neil a couple of times already this year. I really fancied him yesterday, the day before, to go deep in Pro Series number 9. Wasn't to be. Quality operator. Wouldn't be surprised to see any of them 4 mentioned players pick up a trophy.
Yeah, I mean, our fans already been in a final this season as well, so David's obviously been in 2 now in his Pro Series events, and Oli Bale just slowly sneaking through, a bit of a dark horse. He played really well actually yesterday against Phil Harrison to knock him out early doors in Pro Series 10. As you see Chris opening up here, the first frame. A little bit tricky here, he's going to be playing a cannon, so needs to make sure he promotes this yellow in a way that doesn't tie anything else up. It's not bad, but he's going to need another cannon.
Yeah, and he'll be trusting down to a little bit of luck here, you feel. Cannot guarantee exactly how this is going to land. Contacting the first yellow means it probably won't move too far, so he wants to edge on the far side of it, you feel. Just like that.
That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, well worked out. Chris Day, absolute scholar of this game. If you've spent some time with him, Lukey, he goes into the intricacies of this game like no other player. He'll baffle your mind.
Do you know what? I was really fortunate actually on Friday night after all the games had finished. I managed to convince Chris, after being in the comms box with me, to have a little first to 11 against him. And well, to be honest, I was quite happy with my result. I mean, I lost. It was 11-8, but I mean, taking 8 frames off of Chris Day, especially the way that he's playing at the moment, I was absolutely buzzing with. But I mean, he's just such an expert in. There's just sides of the game that he sees that nobody else does, and it's so interesting just to pick his mind. But one more important shot to play here.
Yeah, definitely. What you call an overthinker. Well, you could see his plan of attack really wanted to miss the kiss on the 8, trying to cheat the pocket, but has cheated it just a little bit too much, and it's forced a miss.
This isn't the easiest for Dave McNamara, simply because of the fact that Chris has left him so close to this red. It's hard to really get the action on the white, so may have to take the next ball from distance. Yeah, you can see the way that he had to jack the cue up there. That's not ideal. I think he's looked at cutting this red back off of the yellow into the middle pocket. This is a tricky little shot.
Yeah, I think he's got the option to play it either corner pocket. Just wants to watch his cue ball though. Especially if he's heading into the 8, you can see him jacking up just to avoid that. Well, made a full ball contact and judged it well.
But I don't think, does this red pass into the corner? I'm not 100% sure. He's having a long look at it. If it doesn't, this is awkward. He's having a look again. This is obviously tight.
Don't expect Dave Mack to miss this. He's been in such good form this weekend. Wow, put the curses on him straight away. Must have been tight, but look where he's left the cue ball. Thinking clearly out there. Not leaving Chris Day any sight of this yellow.
Yeah, and if Chris is going to lose this frame, it's going to hurt him because he did have both balls out in the open. You know, and 9 times out of 10 you'd expect Chris to finish off those last 2 balls, but can he get out of this and find a safe spot for the white? Oh, he's gone for it dead weight.
Is that yellow touching the cushion? No, it wasn't, so that's okay. But it's not going to be good enough, you feel?
Yeah, there's a couple of little intricate positional shots to play here, but you would definitely have Dave McNamara odds on to make this finish. Yeah, that's a lovely shot, just to use the top cushion, just to land on a nicer angle on this red. Yeah, and this is just one more tricky shot that just needs to be made sure of. He's just got to play this with a bit of running side just to bring the white over the right hand side of the table for this 8 ball. Oh, he's played that so well. Yeah, just making sure here. It's going to be this 8 ball to take the opening frame.
Yeah, he needed a couple of chances, but it's the 2-time runner-up that takes the opening frame.
Yeah, and I mean, I suppose in some ways we're quite lucky that we see it almost from a different perspective. That obviously seeing it out in the arena or kind of watching it on a live stream is one thing, but being able to actually be in the comms box with the players that are taking part in these tournaments. I mean, I had one of the funniest commentating games I think I've ever had in my life with Oli Bale last night. I mean, crazy character is Oli, and then lo and behold, the one before that I was with Buzzer as well. So, you know, I really got both ends of perspective with those two. But
they are 2 of the best to sit with the microphone. Buzzer especially has a multitude of stories. If you ever get the pleasure again, do go and ask him about a story with a broom.
Well, I mean, by the end of our commentating session, I mean, I think I'd booked in a coaching session with him, so I've probably got to chase him up on that after all of this. But
it's a few miles up the M1 for you, that is, Luke.
Oh, it's about a day and a half journey the way things went yesterday, or on Thursday getting up here. It took 2.5 hours to get around the M25, absolute nightmare that, but who's not having a nightmare at the moment is Chris Day. He's got right into this clearance.
Certainly a highlight this weekend was the match with Josh Kane and Cole Bedford, where it went to a decider, but all 13 frames were done in, I think, 38.5 minutes. Incredible. I do believe that Stevie Dempsey and Carl O'Donoghue put on a similar performance. I think Carl coming out a 7-5 victor, and that only took around 26 minutes, somewhere on there. Carl in action over on table 2 at the moment against Neil Raybone.
Do you know what? I mean, it's been such a good weekend because of the fact that there has been those upsets, but at the same time, there's just been such high quality on show as well. I mean, one of my favourite ones that I watched along to was the Liam White-Phil Harrison quarter-final. I mean, Liam was just unlucky at the end. I mean, that 8 ball just got away from him, but I mean, the standard in that match for Liam to come back and the way that Phil initially started, I mean, was unbelievable.
I think out of all the breaks at Ultimate Pool, if I could bottle up and keep one, it would be Liam's. It is a fantastic thing to watch as we see Chris Day just a little bit thin on this last yellow.
Yeah, he's just not quite had the cue ball on a string so far in this game.
Needs this to pull up. I think he's going to be okay. He is. So we're going to be level after around 10 minutes.
Yeah, good response this from Chris, but you know, was almost putting himself down a little bit, and I suppose on the stat sheet you could say that he's underperformed for the year. I mean,
yeah, certainly. I mean, he's failed to get out the last 32 on every occasion, so this is already a season best at the Pro Series for him. If he's to advance even further, would be you'd have to say his biggest achievement on the Pro Series so far. So, big game for Chris, this, I suppose.
yeah, it's just because of the depth of the tour, David, isn't it? I mean, you've got to remember that when Chris started on the tour, there were 48 players, if I'm correct, when the initial challengers came up. Obviously, in that second year that Chris has gone pro this year, we've had, I think it's roughly about 40 introductions, and all of a sudden when the field gets that big, and the talent that's come through as well from that other side, and the efforts and things that people have put in, there's no easy draws, and then all of a sudden you're in the prelims and you could draw someone like John McAllister.
Yeah, nice easy prelim draw. Just a world champ, as you do.
I felt hard done by getting David Hogan in a prelim a couple of months ago, but I mean, it's different gravy on the pro circuit, isn't it? Just every game is there's no easy draw.
I don't envy you. Did a season myself on the Challenger, and it's extremely tough there. You say the amount of professionals, there's 286 challengers.
It's more than that now. I think it's 300, something like that.
I mean, I do know that if you get drawn in a prelim in the Challengers, to win it you have to win 9 matches first to 6.
Yeah.
Ooh, can he get through to this one on the left? I believe that was his intended target. Pretty sure he can play the one bottom right, but really wants to be on this one. He's having a good look at it, and it's very close to the cushion, so if he's got to go cushion first, it just makes it a little bit more difficult to judge.
Yeah, he's obviously comfortable enough. I think he's playing this with a little bit of right side, and that's...
It was cushion first, and you almost have to catch it straight away with it being so close to the cushion.
Yeah, and it's a second opportunity in this match miss for Chris Day. An opportunity for Dave McNamara to respond. Yeah, good opener there for Dave, and his main problems are going to be, David, these 3 yellows on the right hand side, just where Chris has put that red over the bottom pocket. I don't think it's opened enough for a big pocket, so Dave's got some work to do down there.
Yeah, definitely not. Although both yellows do have a home. Just looking where he wants to plant the cue ball. No need to start moving things if he doesn't want to. Well, he has targeted the 8. And that could have gone wrong, but I don't think it has. This yellow is closest to, does nip in the middle. Still plenty of work though here, Luke.
I wonder if he's going to think now of maybe... as I say, that yellow in the middle is very, very tight. If he has just got it, it's perfect. Yeah, potentially play this, and then a loss of turn is available.
Yeah, the red being so far away from the pocket makes the combination shot very difficult. Where does he plan to put the cue ball for a little bit of insurance? Oh, how well did he hit that? I mean, he hasn't made the combination shot, but that is a fantastic effort.
Yeah, it was a great shot because he's found an area on the table where Chris can't really do anything with either red being... Basically, if you avoid leaving the white on the left-hand side of the table, you've got the ball fairly safe. But Dave's done a really good job there. I mean, Chris has got a safety shot here, but Dave has definitely got advantage of the table as things stand.
Will he be tempted? How much gap has he got between the cue ball and his yellow?
He's got the plant, I think, down the line initially.
Well, if he's left that, Chris Day, that's a mistake. He has left the plant, and Dave's got it.
That was the problem. Chris didn't really have anywhere to hide with that, and playing the little kind of double hit shot that he did, he needed to sit that white right on the yellow. Didn't quite achieve it.
He's not got through the cue ball. That is a disaster. Had an awful lot of the table to land in and just hasn't hit on the cue ball where he intended. Just didn't expect that mistake. I was about to say how well Dave McNamara is thinking out there.
Yeah, I mean, Dave's been faultless this weekend, so it's just important for him here to keep his head.
Look at this.
Still a great recovery to sit the yellow over the pocket.
Right, Luke, what do you play here?
I mean, if I'm Chris, I think you're almost forced into playing the thin yellow, the thin red into the bottom right. And if you get it, you've got a chance of cannoning into that yellow. You might try and play snooker here, but it's at a horrible angle.
There's a possibility here. He may leave no route to the yellow. This is very delicate. Well, he's got it. Has Dave got any flat cushion just to the right of the red? I don't think he has. He's going to have to come down the left-hand side with a lot of left-hand side.
Oh,
the line looks good, Luke. Is he going to get the double kiss? Not quite. But he'll be happy with the result.
Yeah, now Chris has really got nowhere to hide. I mean, that yellow is just far away enough. I think that if Chris tried to leave him on the left-hand side, Dave could probably pot it. So this is very, very tricky for Chris. Oh, that's a great shot if he's got the snooker.
Love the tap on the table.
That was so much tougher than it looked. That's almost a snooker safety shot because he's had to try and hit the red fin. That red was really close to the cushion. And he's got the mistake out of Dave McNamara. And I'll be honest with you, Dave's been a little bit unlucky to find the white there.
Yeah, I think he's as bemused and confused as I am there. Certainly doesn't look happy sat down in his chair.
I think he just flicked the yellow, but then catching the jaw, it's kind of forced the white into the other side of the yellow, which is why the white's made its way into that that top pocket. But I'll be honest, I do put it down to a bit of reward for Chris's great safety shot the shot before. And admittedly, Chris has initially thrown away a bad opportunity in the first part of this frame, but he's recovered well. And he's going to get a 2-1 lead.
And you've got to put them to the back of your mind straight away. Easier said than done, and something that an awful lot of the amateur players really do struggle with. How many times you see a player absolutely flying, make one mistake and then fall off the end of the cliff? You can't do that at professional level.
And lo and behold, he's gone dry in the next one as well. But you've really got both ends of the spectrum here, with obviously Chris, who's very calm and composed and just doesn't give anything away, and then obviously you've got Dave at the other end of that is a very high emotionally tariffed player, and yeah, this is a golden opportunity out for Chris.
Yeah, devastating for Dave, that. Not much work for you to do here, Luke.
No, that opening plant was the only real tricky shot of all of it, just because that yellow below the 8 ball was awkward to land on. But now that he's got rid of that problem, this should be dotting the I's and crossing the T's here for Chris. You know, just don't make any silly mistakes. He did have a clearance like this, admittedly, against Jack yesterday that he should have taken out and didn't, but obviously recovered well in the next few frames in order to do what he needed to do. But I mean, that's gone badly wrong. I mean, I'll be honest with you, that is so poor to land there.
Yeah, that's got a safety. If he does want to attack a double, he can nestle on and off the yellow, but like you said, a very unusual mistake for Chris Day, that. Given what happened in the last frame, he'd be looking to punish Dave, especially after the split he was left.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that plant he must have been slightly wrong-sided on, but I didn't feel like he had to play it with that much power. I think he was always going to land on another ball, no matter what pace he hit that at. Yeah, and it's forced him to play safe. But even though he's not left Dave anything, Dave's all of a sudden got a foothold in this frame that he never should have had.
Yeah, absolutely right. Can't attack these reds, you don't feel, but he's got a decent opportunity to try and hide the cue ball in the breaking area. I think he's just about managed it.
Yeah, it was really well played. I mean, even if he hasn't got the snooker, he's put the white in a position where the only thing that Chris could even go at would be a ridiculous free ball plant. But I wonder if Chris will consider maybe playing off the side cushion and then potting the yellow that's closest to the pocket. I think that's what he might be looking at. It's not a bad effort, but it was a free hit. He was never leaving Dave another pot, so it was clever with safety in mind.
Difficult for Dave, Matt, but looks like he's worked something out. It's a pressure shot, this, because it could be his last in the frame. Lost a turn, hide the cue ball. Not quite. What has he left? I think the one furthest right is on for Chris Day. So had very few options, did Dave McNamara. But Chris Day's ball advantage has paid dividends for him, giving him this extra chance.
Yeah, needs to make sure he cues this well. That red that's just by his cueing hand is just a little bit of a nuisance. But he's played that so well. Oh, but the cue ball's run on him.
Yeah, cued it well, but potted it thick, and that's what caused the cue ball to lack a little bit of pace and the correct line. So a very thin cut, or possibly a double.
I think he'd probably look at the double here, just because he's got the big pocket with the red into the left middle. He's going to have to screw it back though. That's the only thing that could throw the angle. Oh, he's played that so well.
That's unfortunate. Yes, he's still okay, but would have loved to just nudge that red full ball, wouldn't he?
If you're on the yellow into the bottom left, it's frame over. But because he's not on there, he's got to play a really particular screw shot to land into an area to land on that yellow now. So this is just where it gets a little bit tougher. He needs to play this well. Oh, did he play it well? Couldn't have put it much better with his hand, David. And it's fair to say, David, it's not been clean cut from Chris, but it's been effective. And it's going to be this 8-ball for Chris to open up a 2-frame lead at 3-1.
Yeah, precision finish from Chris Day, very good indeed. Earns his 3-1 lead, and the frustration must be mounting.
Feels like advantage Chris Day at the moment. Can he get a good break going? He was hitting them well yesterday.
That certainly wasn't well hit, and he's very lucky to keep the cue ball on the table.
Yeah, he was absolutely hammering them yesterday, but feels like it's just dried up on him a little bit. But this is a really important frame now for Dave McNamara. Doesn't want to let his opponent get 3 ahead.
Yeah, one problem, but can deal with it straight away, and has done. Would have loved a nice open opportunity while he's smiling, which tells me he's glued to this yellow and not on the obvious ball to the bottom right. I don't think he can get through to the one over the pocket either. So first glance, looked like a good opportunity, but is he going to try and bend round while queuing over? This is incredibly high tariff.
He's either got to bend it or he's got to play a free ball plant. This is horrible. Anywhere else, or any other cannon on that yellow, and Dave McNamara, you feel like is out in this frame, but all of a sudden this is so high tariff.
Yeah, and he's visibly frustrated at the moment. And you can't really blame him. Things that have just been a little bit out of his hands hasn't gone his way, one iota. Needs to sit down though and just regroup his thoughts, because we're only halfway through this match clock, and even if Chris is to finish these yellows at a first visit, the match is far from over.
It's very easy to get annoyed, obviously, being 3-1 behind, but in a first to 7 and you've still got so much time left on the clock, you're never out of it. I mean, there's been bigger comebacks in Ultimate Pool this season, a lot bigger comebacks in Ultimate Pool this season, and, you know, at the same time as well, I mean, we mentioned earlier that Chris maybe hasn't had the results this year. You know, how can you not tell that potentially Chris may have some problems getting over the line later in the match? Because, you know, nerves will mount if you've not been in that position before over the course of the season. I mean, I know how composed Chris is, but there is always a little bit of that no matter how good you are.
Yeah, I can take what you're saying there. No doubt about it. As we said at the start, this is the furthest he's been in the Pro Series. So a quarter-final will mean a lot to him, but you may know him even better than me, and he's a very measured character, is Chris. And if he is feeling it on the inside, he doesn't show it on the outside, as we watch that yellow nearly pop back out.
Yeah, I think he had to utilise a bit extra of the pocket there just because the red was in the way a little bit. But yeah, this is not an easy finish still. I mean, I think he's potentially forced into playing a skill shot here. This is a big shot.
Yeah, the red looks a little bit closer to one side of the pocket, but still on. Very good indeed. Nothing but pocket for Chris Day.
Yeah, that was clean as a whistle, wasn't it? He's still not home here. This is still tricky. He's wrong side of this yellow, so he may be forced into taking the last yellow by the right hand middle pocket long. So still a lot of work to do here.
Yeah, the one on the left hand side does pop cleanly, or he may just feather the red. Like you say, getting onto his last yellow, not a natural. Yeah, lots of left hand side on the cue ball. Couldn't do too much better than that. I think he's okay here. He can avoid the fate of the middle pocket with the cue ball, but he's just going to be left with a thinner 8 ball into the opposite centre. So if he can just drop this in and avoid dropping in the centre pocket, he should be okay. But he doesn't look happy out there, does he?
He's just put his cue onto that top pocket, which makes me think that he's going to have to try and screw this white into the jaw in order to avoid the in-off. Oh, wow. Yeah. And because of that, he had to really kind of jab at it, and that's the reason why he's missed it.
So camera angles caught me out a little bit there. Obviously couldn't avoid the in-off. And it was the shot before, wasn't it, Luke, that he had to load up the side with and killed the pace of the cue ball coming back across the table. Another sort of 2-3 inches and the shot would have been on plain ball. But a reprieve for Dave Mack. Just what he needs, really. Probably feels like he's not really got going thus far in this last 16 encounter.
Yeah, and ironic to his counterpart's nickname Judgment Day, it feels like he's got this judgment clearance in front of him. And, you know, this is huge for Dave. I mean, the opportunity that Chris had was not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but it's one that probably when he gets down to those last 2-3 balls, you'd fancy him to take out. He hasn't done it, and Dave, on the form that he's been this weekend, you know, he will be fully expecting to take this out and get this back within 1. I think another thing that it might be worth taking into account, David, as well, that maybe we haven't mentioned is obviously how long the days are at the Pro Series as well. And obviously bearing in mind that Dave was in that final last night at 11:15, and then on top of that he's had to get up earlier this morning in order to play his last 32 round when everybody else was starting their last 16 games. I haven't had one yet, but I did see the one last night between Dom and Aaron, and, you know, I got the buzz back and I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind seeing one of these today. But
Neil Raybone and Carl O'Donoghue over on table 2 are locked at 3 apiece. I'll edge me bets and say that's a very high quality encounter. Two of the very best players, in my opinion, at Ultimate Pool.
Neil had to thank his lucky stars a little bit last night against Christophe Lambert. Christophe had an awesome opportunity to take him out, and on what could be described as a fairly routine positional shot, Chris borderline snookered himself, and Neil managed to get himself out of jail a little bit. But sometimes you need things like that just to be able to bump you on a run. And once again in this frame, just signs things could go a little bit scrappy between Dave and Chris here.
Yeah, and following the dry break from Dave McNamara, it wasn't all good news. Chris trying to open up the table at the first attempt and didn't manage it, and second attempt, same result it's looking like.
He's just dug himself a hole here, because actually in playing the cannon he's actually opened up David's yellows but not his own reds. Obviously he was just praying for a little bit of luck with that, and it hasn't quite come out for him. So now all of a sudden, huge amount of work to do.
Well, congratulations as well to yesterday's winner in the Challenger Series, Ricardo Jones. Fantastic achievement. Getting past Harjeet Singh, 7 frames to 5 in the final. Ricardo securing a professional spot with that win, you'd feel.
Yeah, and Harjeet as well. I think looking at the rankings yesterday, I'm pretty sure that Harjeet's gone 11th or 12th and Ricardo finds himself in the top 10, so both of them will be secure pros for next year. As for the hunt for the final pro status places, you've got Christy Caulfield at 16th at the moment, so he's going to be hoping that people that are already in that top 16 are going to get results for him. As things stand, there's a few people that could still stop him yet.
Yeah, we're well underway with event 10 in the Challenger. Charlie Earnshaw and Andrew Patchett already booking their place in the semi-finals, scheduled for 2 o'clock. The other one's still going on, the other 2 quarter-finals. Ryan Davey, Rob Woodcock. Ryan leading 4-2, and the familiar faces of David Hogan and Mark Gray are at 2-all.
Yeah, I mean, David Hogan's having a serious season, and I mean, he could take if David was to win the event tonight or make the final, if I'm correct, he would steal the number 1 spot for Connor Treacy, which I mean would be crazy to think about, bearing in mind that Connor's had the season that he's had. But I mean, what a story it would be, David, if Charlie was to go on and win it. 15 years old and comes through a field of 300 odd challengers, some of the best in the world. He's just playing awesome stuff.
Serious talent coming through in the Challenger Series. We thought Kyle Cope was a young man. Charlie Earnshaw, like you say, 15 years of age, what an achievement. Just shows it can be done if you're good enough, whatever age you are. Dave Matt then, can he get round for this 8 ball? It doesn't look like he's going to get there. And you have to question his line a little bit there, Luke, don't you?
Yeah, he had a shot a couple of goes ago, probably on his third to last ball, where he tried to cannon into that red to move the 8 out of the way and didn't catch it. He just kind of clipped it and didn't quite remove the 8 ball, and because of that he was chasing the whole time.
Big double for Dave Mack. I think he got the jaws nearly. He's still at the table. It's not good news.
It's a huge opportunity miss for Dave there. But now another huge opportunity here for Chris to once again deliver a huge setback for Dave. Oh, but that's a poor opener. That's a seriously poor opener. He just wanted to land low on this red in order that he could get into those 2 on the left hand side. He's still not in the worst position, but he's going to have to use this top pocket and play top cushion and play a very good positional shot to land on the red into the middle, because it's thinner than it looks.
Yeah, loading up. side off the top cushion to kill the pace. And these are delicate into the centre. Might look easy on your screens, but I can assure you they're not. Although he's bound to make it look very simple now. Very good indeed, Chris Day. It's looking like he's going to get a 2-frame advantage once again in this match, and Dave McNamara, if he can stay within 2, will probably welcome the 15 seconds a shot. Can play fast when he wants, and out of the 2 players you do feel he would be more comfortable.
It does just feel, David, doesn't it, that if one of them can just find that extra gear, that they could run away with this, really. Just noticed that Chris has opted to change to the cut break, and he was crunching them a couple of days ago, but for some reason went back to his front ball break first thing this morning. But that's a really good split.
Yeah, that's his best break in the match so far. If anything, his break has been way below average in this match. He's lost the cue ball on at least 2 occasions. Well, yeah, 2 occasions he's broke.
This is still a nasty little finish though, and the reason for that is because of the 2 reds and the yellow in the bottom left. There's a lot of work to be done there in order to promote those balls. I think he's a bit too straight on this red into the bottom right hand corner to promote it now, so he's going to have to find a way to do it later on.
Good effort, and the yellow dropping in does him a favour. He's got an awkward chip into the right centre, but if he makes it and gets position, it'll be a fantastic opportunity at key point in this match to take a 3-frame lead. Key ball coming up.
The problem with the shot that Chris just played was because he had to absolutely hammer it into kind of the side of the pocket, because he had no angle on it. It made it so tough.
Wow. I'm not sure if he was touching ball. He did just come off the red. I'm surprised he turned the red to the centre down, but what a safety shot he's played in reply.
Yeah, because he had no momentum coming off a straight ball to cannon into those, that's kind of why the white stuck. But having touching ball and noticing that area on the table that left Dave absolutely nothing, it's really impressive, and this ball in hand now is huge. So this is just a case of kind of working down the table, unless that yellow and red are just separated by the 8 spot as well. So everything goes for Chris, and this is a huge frame now difference between 4-3 and 5-2. Dave McNamara has been way below his best so far, so important for Chris to kind of bury his opponent as soon as possible and not give him any kind of wavelength to get back into the game. Use that cue ball to stop. That's a great shot. Got a lovely angle now, just to kind of punch the white across a little bit, just for the red on the 8 spot. Yeah, and this should very much be dot to dot from now on for Chris Day in this frame. Just got to play one more shot to land on the 8 ball, but it's got so much room for error on it.
Yeah, just the simple stuff to do, and like I said a few moments ago, I think Dave will welcome this 15 seconds a shot. He needs something to change in this match, because if he keeps going in this fashion, it'll be over before the match clock ticks down, you feel. Yeah, perfectly on the 8. He will have to break in the next to keep the dream alive of another run deep, but at the moment everything is going Chris Day's way. 5-2 he leads in this race to 7.
But huge break now for Dave McNamara. And I'll tell you what, he didn't spend much time queuing down on that, but the split's good. Just signs of maybe a little bit of anger in that one, maybe.
Yeah, and who could blame him? If you're going to take it out on something, why not 15 balls in a triangle, eh? More importantly, though, he needs to focus. This is a chance for Dave McNamara, and you feel he's got to take it, and take it at the first visit.
Yeah, it gets different as we approach this 10-minute shot clock, 15-second shot clock, because you just haven't got the time to kind of respond if you go 4 behind. Yeah, because if Dave was to go 6-2 down, even with just 10 minutes left, he'd have to take out frames 2.5 minutes at a time, which is so tough to do. But already Dave's losing this cue ball.
Yeah, can keep the dream alive. He can play the red off the red into the left corner, or take a thin snip down the right hand side. This one a little bit more appealing, you feel. Big shot this in the match. He's got it, and he's on the one on the left hand side. Now, can play this at a nice pace and nothing to do with the cue ball. Just drift over to the right hand side. Wow, he's finished a little bit short.
He's way short. And the problem in doing that is that you can't really push the white down the bottom of the table, which is where he wanted to be. So now he's got to not only pull out a great pot, but somehow find a route for this cue ball to land on his next red. Oh, it's a long way wide.
Devastating for Dave Mack. Feel that could be the match. Chris Day is going to eat up sort of at least 2.5 to 3 minutes of this clock if he uses his extension. 6-2 with 7 minutes. It's all done and dusted, you feel, Luke?
Yeah, this is a huge visit for Chris now. He's just got to make sure 6-2 will probably leave about 7.5 minutes left on the clock, which I think is just a step too far for Dave McNamara to come back from at this point. But if Chris was to miss, then 5-3 is a totally different ball game. Yeah, just signs on table 2 of the scores. Neil Rayburn 6-4 ahead, but Carl O'Donoghue on an 8 ball to pull one back. Signs that one could go all the way. Yeah, 6-5 now. Carl O'Donoghue gets one back. But on this table, Chris Day is doing the business. He's just got to make sure a little bit here. He's just a bit off angle on this yellow. He wants to make sure that he's going to cannon the black into a way that promotes it to pot it. Oh, that's beautiful.
Very good indeed. Precision stuff once again. And yeah, fantastic stuff. But will be a tough match if he is to come through against Shane Thompson.
However, a dry break there, and this is a clearance that Dave McNamara can fly at. And if he can quickly get this one done, then
yeah, I mean, we have written him off, but he's capable of playing at a super fast speed. Key shot this if he's taking the one on the right. Needs to find a window. He's got the pot. Has he got the window? I think he has, Luke.
yeah, it's really nicely played.
The dream is still alive.
Oh, that yellow passing the other yellow is great. Great news for him. He's now will go dot to dot.
Nudging the 8 perfectly as well.
I'm a little surprised he nudged the 8. Just felt like he could have just gone dot to dot there without playing any cannons. Just made that pot on the yellow a little bit harder, but he's played it perfectly.
Yeah, how well did he play that yellow? So, 6-3, 6 minutes 20 seconds.
Well, that clearance was about a minute, so
That's a certainty. He's got a ball, Luke, and he's got a chance.
Once again, the split's not too bad. I mean, a couple of good positional shots to play, but you can immediately cannon out the problem ball there.
Oh, this is still awkward. These two reds at the bottom of the table nearest us are blocked to the obvious pockets. Great bit of queuing. Well, is it blocked? Does this one sneak past the yellow into the corner?
I think it sneaks.
Wow. It's a bit of a bonus. And he's.
Oh, Dave.
I was just about to say he'd left the perfect angle just to get over to the left-hand side and play the red into the bottom corner, but I think that will be that. Chris, if he's wise, which he most certainly is, will take his extension, which he just has done, right on cue. And that is pretty much match over, you feel.
I don't think Dave can believe what he's just done. I think he had a fair amount of that pocket as well, and I think he just tried to manipulate it to bring the white over. I thought he was just going to kind of screw back a little bit and then take the red long into the bottom corner and work down for it again, because he had the opportunity to do that. Decided against it to try and force that pocket, and that's a huge error. And that's going to be the one to cost him a game. And over on table 2, Carl O'Donoghue's levelled at 6-all at no time and then hit an absolute monster of a break in the decider.
Yeah, and just looking at that, he's got, no real problems here for Carl in the decider at 6 apiece. 7 minutes on the clock as well over there. Chris Day, no real problems for him either. Would have liked a little bit more angle. Just makes it a little bit easier putting the one to the centre and getting over for the last colour. But he's still okay. So you feel he's got to use the bottom cushion. It's hard to see from here. Can he just drop it in dead weight? Or no, down the bottom cushion. Full ball kiss on the red is ideal. This match is well and truly over. You can see the towel in Dave's hand. I'm expecting it to come in. Maybe not.
Do you know what? It's been a great weekend from Dave. Yeah.
The towel is in. You just sensed that was going to be the case, didn't you? Commiserations to Dave McNamara. He had a great run yesterday. Things did not go his way on the 7x4 this afternoon. It's Chris Day that advances. He plays Shane Thompson in the quarter-final at 3 p.m.